Veli Podcast, the #1 Kenyan music podcast.
Hali vipi, you're chilling with Veli on Veli Podcast, the #1 Kenyan music podcast. And as always, we give you nothing but the best of Kenyan music. And today we have a dope interview, and my guest, I'll let him introduce himself.
Yo, thanks, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, so she wanna get lost in Savannah, yeah. It's Lost in Savannah here, and it's a pleasure to be with Veli today.
Awesome. Kama ungeanza intro like that, tungeirudia until you get it the right way. So Lost in Savannah.
Yeah,
we are catching up. Actually, it's like so many, like about 3 seasons now since we last had an
almost
interview
3
with
seasons.
you.
Yeah,
Because the last episode we had with you was episode 105.
wow.
That is season 5, the first episode.
And now we're here.
Yeah, now we're here again.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this episode, make sure you have watch or listen to that episode 105, because a lot of reference will be coming from that previous episode. So, you know, if a regular Veli podcast, hauna shida, you know how the drill is. So you'll catch up with everything. So Lost in Savannah.
Niambie leo bana.
Just a recap from our last episode, because at that time you had dropped your project,
Yeah.
Emotion and Bounce.
Yeah.
And now coming in 2021, you have released like 2 or more projects. So how has the journey been since Emotion and Bounce?
Good question. So since Emotion and Bounce, which was well received, thank you for all Veli regulars that went to stream that project, by the way, and came out really nice. Yeah. The reception was beautiful. It was pure, actually, because anyone who had anything to say about it only had good things to say about it. And I always appreciate criticism, positive criticism. And yeah, since then, I've been growing as a musician in terms of skill, terms of lyricism, and even overall creativity and inclusivity of all the people who are, you know, like particularly involved in the vision. Okay. So since then, we've had, since Emotion and Bounce, there's been Pree Tape, and now Society Tape Deluxe, which is out now on all platforms. You can go and get that.
Awesome. So by the way, I forgot to mention to you guys, Emotion and Bounce was an exclusive on Veli Podcast. We played it for the first time before it dropped. So you have mentioned Pree Tape.
Yeah.
So Pree Tape you released in which year?
So Pree Tape came out in 2021, around June. And it was basically pre-society tape, yeah. Okay. So it's also slang. It's a slang in Canada. They use a slang called pre. So they say pre this. It's like check this out or sample this. So Pree Tape was basically sample this before society tape. It's a 5-track project with features like Nash Henga. And it's been doing well on the internet. Guys really love it. I personally love it. It's some of my best work. And yeah, you can go and check it out and you tell me what you think.
Okay, awesome. So I don't want guys to miss on how you've been releasing your project. So in 2018,
yeah,
you did release Frequency 95.
Yeah. 2019
you released
Emotion and Bounce.
Emotion and Bounce. And then 2021 now, you decided to go full throttle.
Full throttle, put the pedal to the metal. Came out with 2 projects. So there's Pree Tape, and after that came Society Tape. This is a 15-track project, the Society Tape Deluxe version. I actually released Society Tape originally in 2020, end of 2020. Okay. It had some 5 tracks, including Healing and Once Again, which had already been on the internet, as well as 2020 Vision. Okay. If you've seen the video, it's out there. Yeah. So yeah, that came out real nice. People loved it. I enjoyed it as well. The general vibe was just enjoying yourself, getting a feel of the future to come.
Okay.
and basically manifesting everything that's, happening and about to happen. So the idea is to release, I've been releasing music every year since 2018. And I feel like it's a way of documenting life in each of those years, so that you don't forget what has happened. Because the life informs the music, and you see the music, once it's there, it's bound to last. So I want to be 80, 70 years old, and I know what happened in 2018. I know what happened in 2019, 2020, and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So basically, something I've been keeping an eye and noticing about you.
Yeah.
First of all, umecheza chini, and here on the Veli Podcast, watu wachezangi chini. You wear so many hats.
I wear so many hats.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, because basically, like, you can do a project by yourself.
Well, that's just a development that has happened recently. And it's been part of the growth that I'm talking about.
Okay.
For example, while I was recording Frequency 95,
Yeah.
I was basically, at the mercy of the producer.
Okay.
So if the producer is tired, then I can't work, because I'm waiting for him to record me. I'm waiting for him to mix and master my stuff. But since then, Society Tape, Deluxe version, I did work with a couple of people like Nash Henga and also SA and Lemario. Yeah, those are really talented guys in the industry right now. They're probably on every track a lot of tracks that you've had. But this time around it was a bit different because I took it upon myself to harness a new skill in mixing and mastering.
Okay.
So that's in line with the vision to develop a creative studio where we can bring on board various artists and also give them a platform to, exploit their talent.
Okay.
And it started by me being able to also record myself, mix and master the final product, even as far as production of instrumentals and all that. So yeah, it's been a journey, and that's some of the growth that every artist, in my opinion, needs to be involved in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you continue being at the mercy of your producers and on all these people who also have their lives to live.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You might as well take it upon yourself to do what you can for yourself.
Yeah, true that. So in my reference, I was actually focusing on the way your album artworks, the way they come out, they're so different. Like, there's more artistic to them. So like from Frequency 95 up to now. Yeah. So what actually, before you release an artwork for your project, what's like the vision behind it?
So to give you some context, before I started making music, I was still am a visual artist. I'm into design and editing and all that. I do it for myself and plenty other people and companies. Music is my second love, and it's slowly turning into my first. So before I release music, I visualize it, and the artwork has to be representative of what the project is about. So if you look at 2018, Frequency 95, the flames on the hands, the dressing, very commando-like, very aggressive. I felt like it was necessary to do that because I was coming into an industry as a stranger. Yeah, nobody knows I make music. Nobody knows I can do any of these things. Nobody knows me. And I felt like it was important to come in with a bang and demand for my space in it. So Frequency 95 was also a bit aggressive. At the time, there was a lot going on in my life, and there was a lot of pent-up anger and frustration. So naturally, I felt like fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like fire, and I want to, just release and burn down everything and start from scratch.
Okay.
So it was a new start for me. Going on to 2019, Emotion and Bounce. This is a point in my life where I was just starting to experience love and experience, feeling, because I used to suppress those things, right? So here I am, young, in love, feeling everything, and it felt right to make the visual representative of that. So it's sensual. The color purple is known as very seductive and almost sinister kind of color. Also royalty. I felt like I was stepping into a place in my life where I need to carry myself like royalty. So Emotion and Bounce, you can see the lady in the cover. She's right behind there, she's inspired a lot of what I'm saying in that project.
Okay.
We move on to Society Tape. Society Tape, deluxe version. It's plain, there's no title, right? It's just basically me and a blue background, so blue, whitish. And the idea behind that is healing. The first song on the album is called Healing. Those are healing colors: blue, like water; white, purity, I think everybody needs healing, especially since we've come from a time in this Corona period, being sick became kind of like a normal thing, and people are just getting sick left, right, and center, physically as well as mentally and emotionally, being locked up in your house, quarantining and all that kind of, you develop a sickness of the mental and of the heart.
True.
You kind of just need something to, level the playing field. So healing, that's what it's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So going back to Emotion and Bounce, there's a time you told me, actually you said it on the podcast, that while you are working on the tape, you are working with Javan. Javan Jiggy. Shout out to Javan Jiggy.
Shout out Javan.
So you said you found your new sound, which you have been crafting for a while. And at the time you are making Emotion and Bounce, you are on making it perfect.
Yeah.
The way you wanted it to be, or the way you guys vision it to be. So here in 2021, how would you describe that sound that at that time you are making it? And have you guys found a name for it?
So at the time, some of my musical influence was people like Bryson Tiller and Travis Scott, Drake as well. And, when you're starting out somewhere, maybe you never truly have the proper identity for yourself. It's always based on what you're seeing, what you're hearing. And that was the case for me. But since then, time has this thing where it allows you to discover yourself more. And if you also listen, you also have to open your ears and listen to yourself, listen to what's happening in your head, in your heart. I got to a place where I kind of feel like I know myself better now. So I didn't want to really associate with the whole trap soul and that kind of vibe, because that's somebody who knows themselves and they've established themselves and they're able to tell people, this is who I am and this is what I'm doing. So I also had to go through the same process, and I think I'm still, not that I fully know myself, I think it doesn't ever end, right? But at the end of the day, Emotion and Bounce is basically what defines my musical influence. Because there's the emotional aspect, and there's also the bounce, because Kenyans and Africans in general, we like dancing. We like hearing, we like a beat moving us. So the bounce has to be present. And contrary to what society has taught us to believe, men can also be emotional, right? We can express ourselves. We have feelings, and there's nothing wrong with showing them, or even letting other people know that what they're feeling, they are warranted to feel as such. So emotional imbalance, I feel, properly describes the sound that I've ventured into creating as an artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say you have a name for it?
Emotion and Bounce, ENB.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So basically, Lost in Savanna, Emotion and Bounce.
Emotion and Bounce. That's what I'm about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, funny enough, you have mentioned 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. All these years you have been releasing projects, but none of them is a studio album.
Yeah.
So, why is that? And
so, technically speaking, I may be wrong, but from the definition of, from what I know about the definition of an album, it needs to be at least an hour, 30 minutes, right? In terms of how long it lasts while you're listening to it. So up until now, none of my projects have reached 1 hour, 30 minutes. Yeah. So I can't necessarily call it an album, but it is a collection of songs, and they fully embody every aspect of what has been going on in my life. That said, people are familiar with the term mixtape and EP. These are like experimental projects and things that, work that I put out in search of my sound, in search of clarity of the direction I want to take as a musician. And until I feel like I know for sure this is the sound I'm sticking with, this is what people will also want to hear, I feel it wouldn't be right to call it an album, because an album has this kind of permanence where you've told people, this is who I am, this is my music, expect this from me. So until I'm comfortable admitting or proclaiming that, all these projects have genuinely been just mixtapes. I'm still experimenting, to say the least.
Okay. From my understanding, I believe generally, because I think it was maybe 2020 or 2019, at the time, Ye was doing 2 albums. Actually, it was 3 albums. I think his, Kid Cudi, and Nas.
All at the same time?
Yeah, all at the same time. And those projects, they had 7 songs.
Yeah.
7 songs. So for me, I wouldn't say like it is context book, like for an album to be 1 hour, 30 minutes, because I've heard of mixtape that are even longer. Yeah, they're like 1 hour, 30 minutes, that time frame that you're saying. For me, if somebody will have played me your catalog the way they are, and maybe I've not read your bio or anything, I'm just listening to the music, starting from Frequency 95 up to the Society, I will say they are albums. Because like Emotion and Bounce, they have a theme to it, because an album is not that you just combining your songs. You get?
There's a theme.
Yeah, because for you, it's a way, like when you sit down, you're making a project, there's a way you structure them. And there's a particular way you want them to sound. And it also, because the last time we had an interview, you told guys not to listen from the bottom. They have to start from the top to the bottom.
Yeah,
otherwise you get lost.
You'll miss something in there.
Now you see, that's like the way an album is structured. I'm not a producer.
I'll just take you back to the same point. Album has this sort of permanence.
Yeah.
And once you call something an album, in my opinion, it's like you're telling your fans and everybody else who's gonna listen to it, this is me. You can expect this from me. I'll be doing, I've solidified and I've found out who my personality is or my persona is as an artist. And I personally think I'm still in that journey.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say this is me and then next time I give you something else, because I'm still experimenting and all that. But at the end of the day, the music is still real. It's still me. Those are still my experiences, my thoughts, my ambitions, my past, my future, my present.
Okay, so going back to most of your projects, I don't know if maybe you're too selective on who to work with, because they're not that heavily collaborative.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about the society. The society is, I think there's Jovi, there's Muda, who you had last on Frequency 95, and then there's other few features you have put in.
Yeah.
So for you, before you go for a collab, does somebody has to understand your sound, or what do you look before you do a collab?
So when I'm thinking about doing collaborations, there is the aspect of coincidence, first of all, because you have to be in the studio at the same time, right?
Okay.
And most of these guys, these are my friends. We make music with them every other time. And we just happened to be in the studio at the same time when we were recording, and the vibe just flowed, right? Okay. But at the same time, doing collaborations, for me, I feel like before I do a collaboration with an artist, I want the message to align.
Okay.
I want the message to align, because I'm not just doing a collaboration because you're a big name, or because you're a really good artist. There's also the essence of the message. Yeah, I want it to be complementing. I want to complement what you're saying, and I want you to complement what I'm saying, so that when you hear that song, you can say we're talking about the same thing, right? Or it's in the same direction. Because a lot of people do collaborations just for the sake of doing a collaboration, but when you hear what the artist was trying to talk about, these other artists just came on the track and said their own stuff, and the song is over, and you don't really understand why that person was there. Yeah. So I can, to make it long story short, I like it to be meaningful and purposeful. Okay. So for example, there's a collaboration on the new project. So there's a song called Rampage, where we have a song with the song is with KD Papa and Nash Henga. It's a drill song. And the song is basically about owning your space. Okay. I'm telling people, don't mess with me. I may be chill and all that, but don't mess with me. Okay. And that's who these people are really. They're chill and all that, but don't mess with them. So the message aligned, right? The song with Muda is called New Wave. Muda, people like seeing me on a song with Muda, and shout out Muda, he's an awesome lyricist. Akiwala. And the song is basically about trying to do something new. This whole thing of rapping in English and all that, even if we're accepting it as an industry, it's still slightly foreign. So you need to bridge that gap and have something that other people can also relate to. There's somebody who maybe didn't grow up speaking English or listening to English, so they want this other perspective. And it's a new wave, and Muda was very instrumental in expressing that. There's the feature with Jovi Jove. Shout out Jovi. Jovi has been instrumental in this whole sharp movement. Yeah, the sharp OG. Yeah, sharp OG and all that, as he calls himself. And I felt it was necessary to also bridge that gap. Okay. Because he has a fan base which knows him for what he does. I have a fan base that knows me for what I do. And it felt necessary to bridge that gap, speak to them as well, because they also love hip hop, they also love R&B and all that. So yeah, the idea was to let me talk to your guys. Let me tell them that we're not so different.
Okay.
Yeah. There are more collaborations in a coming project. Those are not the only ones. There are many. I could say names, but it's not relevant right now.
Okay. But O.D.D always has to have the exclusive.
O.D.D will definitely get the exclusive. If you want to listen to the new project, it's coming in December.
I see.
Title not decided yet, but O.D.D will have the exclusive.
Awesome. So make sure you keep it here on O.D.D Podcast, the #1 Kenyan music podcast,
Yeah.
because you got the exclusive. So, Lost in Savannah. You said you're not ready, but I need you to be ready to answer this question.
Tell me.
When is the Lost in Savannah debut album coming out?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, that's why I told you you need to be ready.
The debut album.
Yeah.
Let me say next year.
Next year.
Next year. I feel the amount of growth that I've experienced this year alone, if I even have half of that
Yeah.
next year, there's an album for sure.
Awesome. And the way I know Lost in Savannah, you're not more of a single artist releasing singles. Will you be having singles before you launch your debut album, or it should just be the singles off the album?
So right now my focus is on feeding the masses with visual content, because
Awesome,
I have a lot of music out there. I've released an album every year for the last 4 years.
True.
Or I've released a mixtape every year for the last 4 years, each of them with at least 10 songs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of music. You guys have up to 40 of my songs just on your Spotify, on your iTunes, and on YouTube, you know?
And talking of Spotify and YouTube and all this, what took you so long to get there? Because I've been always going there checking Lost in Savannah. Nobody.
Let me answer that. So the visual, right now I'm focusing on visuals. I want to expand on the visual side of things.
Okay.
People have become people have an attention deficit. You know, before you get the whole message, just listening to an audio, you might choose to do something else before you finish and understand what I'm really telling you, right?
Okay.
So I'm feeding visuals until the album comes.
Okay.
As for the streaming platforms,
Yeah.
I was previously using another distributor.
Okay.
When Frequency 95 and Emotion and Bounce came out, at the time I was using DistroKid, right? And I discovered those guys steal from artists.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah, they do, because they'll represent certain figures to you, but for them, what's behind the scenes, what they present to the platforms is totally different, and I thought that wasn't fair. I'm not discouraging you from using. If that's what's at your disposal, please continue to use it. But
if it suits you,
it suits you. True. But personally, I felt I needed to find another avenue.
Okay.
So later this year, sometime this year, I actually discovered another platform, and they are very transparent.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can expect all my music will be back on the platforms. Right now, Society Tape Deluxe is what's available everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, Boomplay, YouTube, Deezer, Tidal, Pandora, everything.
Okay.
So you can find that there.
Yeah.
Lost in Savanna.
Yeah, that's
one word, no H.
Yeah, awesome. Because that has been a long time coming, because I was missing you on that, and I really wanted you to be there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but thankfully the tape is there.
We're back. We're back in action.
Yeah, so Lost in Savannah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for gracing us today.
It's been a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. So now I want you to tell guys how they can find you and your music, your socials, and also where they can stream your music.
So I'm very active on Instagram and Twitter On Twitter, you can find me Lost in Savannah _@ Lost in Savannah. On Instagram, it's Lost in Savannah. It's one word, Savannah without a H. People know me also as Bow James. So if you also wanna look for Bow James, you can find that. Spotify, Apple Music, like I said, those are the main places. YouTube, Lost in Savannah. That's where everything is. I also run a label, Different Dimension Studios. So we're doing a lot for artists. We brand artists because people out here moving without an identity, and your audience needs to remember you. You might come this way the first time, the next time you've come in a totally different way, and it's not recognizable. So some consistency helps in getting your brand visible. So you can contact us. We do cover art. We do artist branding, social media, and all that. Different Dimension Studios. If you're looking to get signed and record music, contact us.
Okay, awesome. So one thing, O.D.D Society in Different Dimensions.
Same thing.
Same thing.
So O.D Society is basically on Different Dimensions Society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I get it. And you forgot to say one thing.
The #1 podcast at the Veli. You can find Lost in Savanna here. Yeah. And have a good time. Enjoy the music and keep creating.
Thank you for that. You know what I wanted to tell you? You forgot to tell guys that you have the dopest match out here.
Oh, word. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it because today, unfortunately, I wasn't wearing my merch, but we have the dopest merch. We create merch for a bunch of artists, Beatty, myself, and other people. Go to Different Dimension.
Yeah.
We have merch. There's the website. It's coming up soon. You can be able to buy there. We'll ship it to wherever you are on the globe, right? Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, I'm already famous. No need to at me, but you can find me on the social media. Twitter at Adoveli Radio, Facebook and Instagram is at Adoveli. Remember, Adoveli Podcast drops in each and every Friday of the week, and we bring you nothing but the best of Kenyan music, whether it's playlists, interviews, or just amazing Kenyan content for you to consume. Until next week, same time, same place, I've been your host, Ado to the Valley, together with...
She wanna get lost in Savannah, yeah. Yeah, Lost in Savannah in this.
Yes, kaboom. Until next week, same time, same place, inshallah.
O.D.D Veli Podcast, the #1 Kenyan music podcast.